Hi everyone, I'm Michael Short. This is Let's Go Outdoors.
Let's go outdoors where the waters run clear and cold. Mother Nature's world is better than gold. So much to see, so much to do. Let's go outdoors, me and you. Let's go outdoors.
Let's Go Outdoors with Michael Short. Supported by the Alberta Conservation Association, conserving Alberta's wild side.
Hi everyone, welcome to Let's Go Outdoors. I'm Michael Short. Coming up, we're off to the Calgary Boat and Sportsman Show, where we'll meet some pretty unique individuals whose connection to the outdoors is achieved through art. Maya Dorian uses an ancient form of Japanese art to capture images of fish on rice paper. Barry White uses a form of art to actually catch fish. We'll check out some fly tying techniques with this master fly angler. We'll also have a conversation with show manager Lori Pates about the amount of money that's donated to various conservation groups here in Alberta. Some could argue that elk bugling is an art form. We'll check out this Call of the Wild a little later on. With the Edmonton Boat and Sportsman Show set to get underway next weekend, I thought we would head back to the Calgary Boat and Sportsman Show and bring you just a few of the interesting folks and activities that we ran across. We start our road trip with a look at how artist Maya Dorian uses rice paper as her medium to catch fish. This Gerard rainbow was caught in Kootenay Lake during a fishing derby by Casey Jones. At almost 20 pounds, it was big enough to take top prize. But winning the Derby was the farthest thing from Casey's mind. She and her family had just learned the death of her grandfather. Wanting to preserve this fish in a special way, she turned to artist Maya Dorian, who has a very special skill when it comes to capturing an image of a fish. Employing a Japanese art form that dates back to the 17th century, Maya inks the fish, which is then transferred onto a type of rice paper.
This is the most challenging part of this art form, quite honestly, is this very part right here.
Every now and then, Maya hits the mark on the first go.
Dang, that's a pretty good rubbing, actually, from what I can see from here.
It took Maya several years of experimentation before she was happy with the results. But then she's never been one to back away from a challenge.
What compelled me was the challenge. I'm a perfectionist, and this was something that wasn't easily done. We saw continual improvement and continual progress, and so it was like something that just compelled me forward to, to carry on until I could pull the so-called perfect rubbing, which I've yet to do. I've been 15 years at this.
The rubbing is just the beginning of the process. For Maya, capturing the vibrant color is the key.
I'm always trying to represent the true colorations, and as anybody who has spent any time around fish or angling, you know that the moment the fish is removed from the water, its color changes so dramatically. So really by the time a fish reaches my table, the colors aren't really true to nature. So I've taken some time to actually even spend time snorkeling in rivers and various water systems to just observe what the fish truly look like underwater, and it's remarkable, the color.
Some fish like this Arctic grayling lend themselves to yet another step developed by Maya, giving them a 3D appearance.
It starts by just kind of gently applying some pressure to the back of the paper and using a little bit of the warmth and moisture of my own breath, and I just work centimeters at a time and gradually stretch it out to create that three-dimensional or relief effect.
Finding out that graphite was the right medium to give these fish their lifelike appearance was a happy accident.
No, that was absolutely by fluke. Just being in an art store and looking for you know, various mediums. I mean, I started working with just dry chalks, and they work beautifully as well, but trying to find a way to pick up that iridescence of the fish. But I found a product in the market that works well for this type of a craft.
Of course, working with particles of graphite, well, that has some hazards.
We're all going to die of something someday, right? None of us get out of here alive, so I figure if that's the thing that takes me, what a great way to go. It was her craft. It nurtured her and it killed her.
The end result, of course, is a one-of-a-kind work of art that's ready to proudly hang on your wall. And it was this kind of attention to detail that Casey Jones was looking for when she heard that Maya was interested in taking on this project. So we're looking at almost a finished product here. What do you think?
I love it. It's beautiful. She does a magnificent job. Recommend it to anyone who wants their fish either mounted or painted. It's well worth it.
So with a signature and a hug, this outdoor art story has come to an end.
Oh, I'm super happy with it. It's beautiful. It's good.
Well, from the wonderful art of Maya DeRyan, we head into something a little more practical, but nonetheless still a very interesting art form. I'm joined by Barry White, a seasoned veteran of a Bow River fly fishing guide. Barry, you've been on the Bow River for over 30 years, and today you're going to tie us what?
It's just a clink hammer. A clink hammer is an emerging dry fly, and it's going to be tied on a size 18 hook.
Now, the whole idea behind tying a fly, apart from giving yourself eye strain, is to present something that closely resembles an insect or a bug that fish would be interested in eating. And these can come in a wide range of shapes and sizes. Take, for example, the San Juan worm, very popular on the Bow River. The stonefly nymph, which lives on the bottom of many Alberta rivers. Experienced fly tiers like Barry can even shape a grasshopper out of foam and rubber. So Barry, I mean, obviously the material that's been used in fly tying since you started in the early 1970s has certainly changed.
Oh, the technology, the research and development and the materials has drastically changed. When we started, everything was basically fur, muskrat, beaver, rabbit, and now we've got all these synthetics.
Feathers play an important role when it comes to constructing an effective fly.
Certain breeders of chickens got into establishing genetics, working with the genetics. Henry Hoffman started working with the grizzly barred Plymouth Rock roosters, and he developed the feather where the feathers on the saddle is the feather that hangs over the rump of the feather, became very long, and this is just a short one. But on the whole saddle, they can be 10, 12, 14 inches long.
Of course, there are some who tie fly simply as an art form. These presentation flies can hook a potential buyer anywhere from $350 to $2,000. This fly that Barry's just completed would be more in the $1.50 range. Now that's more my style. After watching Barry for a while, you may get the impression that you've seen him somewhere before, as he bears a striking resemblance to a rather famous individual. Now, before I ask this next question, folks, if you have little ones in the room, I'd like you to get them out of the room because it's a very sensitive topic. Barry, you've spent your time, of course, a lot of time on the Bow River as a professional guide, but you have a secret life.
From the third week of November until Christmas Eve, I visit with the kids at can I say, Bonnie Doon Shopping Center. I have done that at that store for over 15 years. I have had kids come in and babies. The youngest I've ever held was 22 hours. I've had them come every year, 13, 14 years old. They're still coming to sit on Santa's knee.
Maybe if you're really good next year, Santa might take you fly fishing on the Bow. Coming up, we look at how the Canadian National Sportsman Show supports local conservation groups.
Alberta Conservation Association. Since 1997, more than $120 million has gone towards conserving wildlife and fish and securing habitat, creating a lasting legacy for Albertans.
Well, the Boat and Sportsman Show is a great venue to check out all the latest gear and outdoor adventures. There's another side as we hear from show manager Lori Pates. The Boat and Sportsman Show is a great place to wander around if you're tracking down an outdoor adventure.
Well, we're excited. We bring the great outdoors indoors. We are host two wonderful outdoor shows here in Alberta, Calgary and Edmonton. $16 million worth of marine products on display, 75 different manufacturers, but it's much more than that. We have a full hall of recreational products, ATVs, motorcycles, and everything to do with recreational power sports. We have a full hall of tourism. So this is fishing lodges, hunting outfitters, fly casting, fly fishing, fishing retailers, hunting retailers, a full hunting hall. We have the retriever dog trials, so much to do for the entire family. And of course, we are hosting a lot of associations as well.
Now, the Edmonton Boat and Sportsman Show is the largest outdoor trade show in Alberta.
We have 525,000 square feet, 400 different exhibitors, 8 halls, including one of the halls is, of course, the NAS program. We're very excited. This is a second-year event, so it's the National Archery in the Schools program. We have junior highs, high schools coming to compete. We have double the amount of students this year. So exciting to see that industry continue to grow, that we're a part of it. Of course, he is a part of it. And it really is, again, an outdoor enthusiast playground, because it really is a little bit of everything for everyone.
Of course, one of the great things about the trade show is the fact that a lot of the outdoor adventures you might be looking for can be found under one roof.
Whether it's a family vacation, a corporate retreat, a guy's getaway or a gal's getaway, there's a little bit of everything. And like you mentioned, whether it's Alberta, Saskatchewan, we have the East Coast, we have some international destinations. We really are starting to see that Edmonton is attracting more and more international getaways, and definitely the time to plan, whether it's this year or even into the 2013 year. Show specials are definitely part of it, and the selection. You'd have to drive a long ways to get to see these all under one roof. So we're happy to host it.
One of the things a lot of people may not know about the Canadian National Sportsman Show going back 65 years, the amount of money that you've put back into not-for-profit organizations, especially here in Alberta, Lori.
65 years we have been in Canada, $32 million during that time. Here in Alberta, these are Alberta shows. I like to give money back to Alberta-based organizations, not-for-profit, especially ones that are doing conservation projects ongoing. It really is a part of our mandate. So people's admission and even the exhibitors here that pay to be here, it all comes together. Money's given back each year, and we try and give about $250,000 back here in Alberta each year, whether it's through grants, honorariums, space, or goods. We're trying to do our part as well. We think it's important that we're all in this together.
And it was during the Calgary show that the Alberta Conservation Association was on the receiving end of that generosity.
This money will go straight to trying to restore native prairie grasslands. And it sounds, if you think about trying to reseed your front lawn, it doesn't sound like it'd be that big a job, but when it comes to native seed, it's extremely expensive. As you might expect, it's not a lot of people producing native seed, so it's costly to get it. And so this will go straight to trying to help us reseed a large chunk of native prairie grassland, try to bring back that habitat.
Knowing that trade shows like this are well attended demonstrates that Albertans are passionate in spending their free time outdoors.
It's great to see so many people here. It's just so well attended. When I look around this show, it's not just hunting or fishing. There's things for hikers, for boaters. I saw some kayaks for sale over there. It's a wide range of outdoor activities, and that's really what we want. Is people don't have to be interested in hunting and fishing to support Alberta Conservation Association. They have to be interested in the outdoors itself and caring about the outdoors and making sure they have something in the future where they can go enjoy their various activities. And shows like this really bring people together, and it's great to see how many people are here.
Right now, let's wander over to the outdoor camp and meet up with Brad Fenson for his Field Guide report.
Hi, I'm Brad Fenson with the Alberta Fish and Game Association, and if you're planning to be at the Edmonton Boat and Sportsman Show, I have a tip for you to learn how to catch more trout when nothing else seems to work. Have you ever been out on one of those days when it doesn't seem to matter what you throw at them, you just can't generate a strike? Sometimes fish are in a negative or neutral mood, and they're not really interested in feeding. They're just looking for their own space and their own solitude. What I like to use is a spinner. I call them my alarm clock. Now, spinners are designed with a big blade that spin very fast, and what it does is it puts off lots of vibration and thumping, and when that comes by fish that are looking for some solitude, it really annoys them, and they turn around and strike it out of aggression. So spinners are a great option when nothing else will work, and this is usually my last resort after I've tossed everything else at them, and if it doesn't work, it's usually time to find a new pool to fish or a new stretch of shoreline.
Coming up, students from schools right across our province are aiming for top scores.
The Alberta Hunter Education Instructors Association delivers conservation programs about Alberta's wildlife and fish, which need to be managed for future generations. To date, AHIA has instructed over 1 million students.
When Devon Energy recently inherited this 30-year-old access road, they discovered that many of the stream crossings were no longer up to par. So old-style culverts are being replaced with a much improved modern arch design that reestablishes the natural flow of the bed. The small ledges will be vegetated to prevent materials from the road surface entering the creek. And the cost of this project? $200,000. Further down the road, a bigger stream, a bigger culvert, this time the cost, $500,000. To people like Devon Energy's Chris Walsh, that's money well spent.
We hired biologists to come out and independently assess the whole right-of-way, looking for not only small permanent water courses, but the intermittents and the ephemerals, that we may have to change out our crossing structures to make sure that they meet today's criteria and Devon's intent of doing a good job.
That's good news for fishermen because these streams eventually flow into Winifred Lake, a well-known trophy hotspot. Archery is making a comeback in some Alberta schools. Students will have an opportunity to show off their skills at the Edmonton Boat and Sportsman Show. Without question, one of the really neat events you'll have a chance to check out at the Edmonton Boat and Sportsman Show is the Provincial Archery Contest. This event is put on by the Alberta Hunter Education Instructors Association.
And you're going to wait behind the weight line, which is that blue line at the far back.
Archery it's an activity that's suitable for every age. The girls shoot as good as the boys. You don't have to be an athlete to do it. And the world record is held by a grade 9 girl. The technological advances in archery equipment is astonishing. Why it waned, it's hard to say.
Having a chance to show their skills on the archery range is something a lot of these kids look forward to at events like this.
The one thing that we continually get from the teachers that tell us how their archery program is evolving in their school is the fact that many of the kids, and sometimes in some schools, most of the kids have never competed in anything in their life. And the fact that they get to learn a skill, compete in the provincial NASP competition, this is the biggest mark that the NASP program has made in most of these schools.
Painful, my fingers hurt. Mine don't. You're lucky. Yeah, I had so much fun.
Canada's cold water resources need you. Trout Unlimited Canada delivers conservation results for our freshwater ecosystems and their cold water resources. Our work includes stream restoration, scientific research, and education through our Yellowfish Road program.
If these folks look a little intense, it's for good reason, as the qualifying round of the Alberta Elk Calling Contest is about to get underway. 5 contestants will do their best to impress not only the crowd, but judges as well. The idea behind the contest, apart from having a little fun, is to raise awareness of the good work being carried out by the Wild Elk Foundation.
Our reason for doing it was to spread an awareness and appreciation for elk and elk calling. There are lots of people out there that call in the wild. They don't have an opportunity to do it in front of crowds. At times it's a challenge to get them to come up on stage, but when they do, it's very entertaining. I think the audience certainly appreciates the fact that elk have a wide range and variety of calls. And so that's the reason we have it in segments, cow-calf initially, and then followed by the bull calls.
Each caller is given 45 seconds to provide their best impersonation of both the cow-calf and bull elk. There are certainly some interesting approaches.
Time. Thank you.
Well, this fellow seems to favor the circle approach.
Time.
Matt here takes a refined approach when it comes to talking with the elk. Of course, all of these different techniques are closely marked by a panel of judges who are hidden behind a barrier just so they don't know who's on stage, you know, just in case there's any favoritism. And after adding up the scores, the winner is named.
So we got 3, 2, 5, 4, 1.
You bet.
Yep, we're all in agreement.
Congratulations. Winning trophy.
Quite an honor, and they've been bugging me for a few years to come up and play on the stage, but I haven't had enough nerve to do it until this year.
Where'd you get that courage?
A lot of outside pressure from friends, so I figured if I was going to come up, I might as well bring my bag of goodies and just come up and play and see how well I can do.
For all the competitors, having an opportunity to show their stuff is just a lot of fun.
Well, everybody's got all the same interests when you come into a competition like this, and it's fun just to meet the guys and hear the stories and how about the Wild Elk Federation going out. So it's an honor just to be up here and be competing with the other guys.
And you'll have a chance to see some of the best elk callers perform at the Edmonton show during the provincial championships.
Hey everyone, we're about to take a break, but we'll be back with our outdoor adventure right after this.
Pheasants Forever celebrates its 20th year in Alberta in 2012. We are dedicated to the conservation of pheasants and other upland wildlife through habitat improvements, public awareness, education, and land management policies and programs.
Magnificent desolation, to coin a phrase from a famous astronaut, Buzz Aldrin. That's probably the best way to describe this incredible surrounding up here in northeastern Alberta. We're on the Athabasca Dunes, one of only 2 active dunes to be found in Alberta, and we're going to go on a journey to discover this very special ecological reserve.
Well, we are in an ecological reserve, and so what that means is that these sand dunes are special, they're protected, and you literally have to walk into these dunes to enjoy them. It'll take you about an hour and 20 minutes to get across the entire length of the sand dunes, and it's remarkable what you can see. There's lakes on the surrounding the sand dunes that people can go and they can jump in and swim, and it's just beautiful.
If there are any illusions about these sand dunes being small, this kind of dispels it. I mean, we're looking at a pretty good slope and a good 20 feet down to the bottom there.
Yeah, that's right. It's literally like a wall of sand, and this wall of sand is slowly swallowing the jack pine forest up, approximately about 1.5 meters per year. One could say that that's been swallowed up by the dunes, right?
Yeah.
Because that used to be a birch tree.
So we're looking at the top end of a birch.
Pretty amazing.
It is high ground, and you can really see the landscape. It's a pretty neat vantage point.
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful view. You can really get a good picture of the dunes itself. You can see for miles and miles of sand. The sand goes in the northern direction there for about 7.5 kilometers.
Well, we got a lot of ground to cover, so why don't we start walking?
Sure. As you can see today, we've picked a beautiful day to be here, but it's hot. I'm sure you can feel that heat.
Absolutely.
And as a family, and you want to take care of your family, make sure that you have plenty of water when you're up here to hydrate your family, and also be aware of the weather, because the weather can sneak up on you up here. But you do have excellent views, and you can see those thunderclouds coming in, and you can adjust accordingly.
There are designated campsites in the area just outside the ecological reserve?
That's right, yeah. It's referred to as the Richardson Backcountry, and there are at least over a dozen campsites that you can attend. What it does offer is pristine backcountry experience.
You know, Hollywood has the Academy Awards. The music industry has the Junos or Gemini Awards. Here in Alberta, the conservation movement has the WISE Awards. For 10 years, these awards have been handed to individuals who've been recognized for their dedication to enhancing wildlife, habitat, or volunteering to help with outdoor education programs.
And this event is a chance for us to sit down and collaborate with a number of groups that we've partnered with, the Professional Outfitters Society, the Officers Association, SRD, AHIA, Safari Club International, the Wise Foundation, Hunting for Tomorrow. We get together and we select leaders in various segments of the community. So tonight we're going to be awarding 4 specific prizes, and we call it a prize, but it's really an honor that they receive this bronze and their recognition from their peers for what they've done in the conservation community.
The first award of the evening went to Conservation Officer Mike Ewald. He was singled out for his dedicated work in the Grand Cache area, both with caribou and bears. But it's the work he did with school kids that he feels most proud.
Actually very humbling, because I know there's a lot of other counterparts of mine that we've spent a lot of time in classrooms, out in the bush, talking to people, promoting conservation and all the efforts that go along with that. So yeah, it's great. I really appreciate it, but yeah, and then there's all the other guys that get they got the award that volunteer their time, whereas a lot of mine, I'm paid for it.
Also honored on the night was Pat Dunford, who has spent his entire career with Alberta Sustainable Resource Development in a number of different roles. He sees an evening like this as a great way to get out the conservation message.
It's very critical. Hunter education is what we used to call it. It's conservation education. It's something that's, I guess, tied people to the outdoors, throughout history, and it's very, very important. This environmental awareness generally, I think, is absolutely critical for the future of fish and wildlife and natural resources generally. This kind of an awards ceremony and sponsored by AHIA and the Wise Foundation, I think is very, very important. It brings people together, and it brings the issues that they're pursuing to the forefront.
As a teacher in Hanna, Kelly Lewis knows what it's like to spend time on the front lines of conservation education. In fact, thanks to his efforts, Hanna is the only school in Alberta that has a firearms program.
The thing that came from the school board when I approached them was they agreed that because it's a very rural population, that some proper safety training was in order. It was an opportunity to work with the kids in a structured, safe way, and live fire is something that they thought was possible and can be managed correctly. We also have a laser simulator that the kids have to do well on first. In rural Alberta, it's part of the history, and it's part of the culture, and proper safe handling is something that's important.
And that brings us to the final award winner of the evening, and it's someone we met earlier at the show, Lori Pates, show manager for the Calgary and Edmonton Boat and Sportsman shows.
What an honor. Like I said, I know I stand in some amazing company that has received that award. I am truly humbled, and our organization was formed in 65 years ago with something that I believe, which is giving back, and giving back to organizations deserving, such as AHIA, Alberta Fish and Game, Alberta Conservation Association. There's so many great organizations within our province. We call them family because we are one big family in this province. So what an honor. I am truly, truly touched.
Wild Sheep Foundation Alberta promotes and enhances wild sheep populations and habitat through the funding of programs that support responsible wildlife management, conservation education, youth involvement, and the preservation of our hunting heritage.
Well, we have just scratched the surface of what you will discover at next weekend's Boat and Sportsman Show. I hope to see you there. If you would like to catch previous stories featured on Let's Go Outdoors, then track down our website at letsgooutdoors.ca. Remember, the outdoors is here for all of us to enjoy. If you see someone taking away from that enjoyment, call the Report a Poacher line. Till next time, I'm Michael Short. Let's go outdoors.
I know where I want to be, outside, wild and free. Let's go outdoors. Let's go outdoors.